All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. All right, I'm about to leave. I'm going to Santa Cruz for 4th of July. I'm taking my family. We are staying at the Casablanca by the beach. So if anybody wants to stock me out or have a cocktail, hit me up in the comments if I upload this in time, and we will be there all weekend. So that's happening. Casablanca by the beach in Santa Cruz. It's going to be off the chain. Except, like, not really, because I have a whole family. All 3 of my very young daughters. But we're going to have a good time. So before I go, I wanted to talk about Dustin Poirier's recent interview, what he said, and how it related back to my story. All right? I'm going to make this about me. And you're going to see a stark difference in my approach, probably, because this particular topic I can't do the face for. I can't do it. So what Dustin Poirier talked about was, he said that before he retires, he wants to be the undisputed champion. And I thought about that, and there's a whole other video that we could do relating to Conor McGregor getting the next title shot, because he's going to get the next title shot. Everybody just needs to get used to that, and there's probably a whole other video that I could do right after this about whether or not Conor actually deserves that shot. But bottom line is, Conor's going to get that shot. There's only one scenario where he wouldn't, and that is if Khabib and Gaethje have literally the most epic fight in the history of the UFC, to where they have to do an immediate rematch. And honestly, that would only happen if both of them are equally injured, right? Where, like, if they both have to sit out, or if in that case, Conor would probably fight Poirier for the interim championship or something. Like, I don't know. I mean, or if neither of them is super injured, even though it's an epic fight. I mean, the only way Conor's not getting the title shot immediately after that fight is that, okay? But anyway, I wanted to tie this back to Dustin on the day that he lost in Abu Dhabi, okay? So he fought for the undisputed championship against Khabib, right? So Khabib's injured, or he's out. I'm sorry, no, he's suspended after he jumped over the fence and attacked Dylan Dennis, right? So he's suspended for a while. And when he comes back, Dustin Poirier has won the interim belt. And Poirier, he lost, okay? He lost. And I heard this, and I can't remember if it was before or after, but I remember him saying that he felt like that fight was the end of a road of, like, destiny, right? Where, like, he believed he was on his destiny road, culminating in that fight, where he's fighting the most dominant fighter in the history of that 155-pound division in Abu Dhabi. When the champion is Muslim in a Muslim country, basically the most hostile territory you could be in. Now, not hostile as in they weren't disrespectful to Dustin Poirier. They were all incredibly respectful, but they all wanted him to lose. That's for goddamn sure. There wasn't a fucking person in that building except for his team that was rooting for him to win that fight. And he came into that Bad Man song, and fuck, dude. When he lost, he was devastated, and devastated on a level that most people can't understand. You can't understand unless you've actually put it all on the line. Like, genuinely, everything you have, all on the line. And that's the thing that people don't understand, is, like, if you've never taken the road of destiny, if you've never defined your life that way, if you've never, like, tied the outcome of something you're doing to the definition of your entire life, like Dustin Poirier did for that fight, or like DC did for the second John Jones fight, or like I did with Major League Fantasy, then you can't understand what a true crushing defeat that can be. So I saw someone describe why the fight game is so incredible in this documentary about War Machine, which I highly encourage you guys to watch. It's fucking crazy. It's called Jack Can't Swim. Is the channel, and he did this whole documentary about all the shit that happened with War Machine. And they just did this little, like, 1 minute thing about why the fight game is what it is. And it's about how, you train for your entire life, all culminating in a fight that at longest is going to last 15 minutes, 25 minutes, and the outcome of which is you're going to be on the highest mountain or the fucking lowest valley you could possibly be. It is perfect the way that they describe it. And I thought about that, and I'm like, that's exactly why I love this fucking sport. But you take that concept and then you elevate it to where it's the absolute highest. There is no mountain higher. The culmination of your entire fucking life is going to be decided on the outcome of this next 15 to maximum 25 minutes, right? Think about how short 25 minutes is, and it's going to define your entire life. But you've trained your entire life to get you to that point for that event. Think about, actually think about that, okay? You're going to perform. You are in control to a certain respect over the next 25 minutes of your life. You've trained your entire life for that event, and the outcome of it is going to define your entire life for you. And I mean, I get it that there are a lot of people who don't tie that much shit to their fight career, but the great ones do. Plain and simple, the great ones do. And Dustin Poirier does. And when he lost, he was, again, devastated on a level that I understood that most people don't. Very few people do. Because here's the other thing, if you've gone all in and you've tied everything to the outcome and you've won, you don't understand either. You can only understand if you've tied everything to it and lost. It's the only way you can know how low that feeling is. And so when DC lost, I've talked about this before, when DC lost to John Jones the second time and people were passing around that fucking DC crying meme, that was not a conversation that I was a very, friendly guy in. When people were like, again, I've told the story before, but I remember one time somebody right after that happened, and this was back in 2017. So this was when my wounds were still a lot more fresh. And again, we're gonna get there, but just imagine if I had lost my fight in an absolutely irreversible way that I could never get back. Okay, I couldn't retrain, I couldn't come back, I couldn't get back on the horse and know, okay, I'll get another shot at it in 2 years. My shot had been taken and I had lost. End of story, right? And about 18 months later, the DC fight happened, and they're sitting around those memes of him crying. And someone made the mistake of being like, they posted a meme of him crying on my Facebook, and they were like, "Hey, what do you think about this, Jesse?" And I made a video that has been banished to the netherworld. I have no idea. I mean, I'm pretty sure I just deleted it. It doesn't exist anymore. But I took I took this guy's fucking head off for no reason. He didn't even, it wasn't his meme. But I posted a video and then I tried to say oh, it's not in response to this guy. I mean, I couldn't have gone harder if I couldn't have tried to go harder because it was coming from a place that wasn't trying. It was like the deepest fucking part, a part of you can only have access to if you've been wounded there. If the only way you can even get to that part of yourself is if someone took a fucking emotional axe and axe wounded you there. And then that's where it vomited out from. So think about how I roll right now, and you're looking at me, you're like, oh, okay, he's not doing Jesse on Fire today. He's not doing Goat on the mic. This is a different kind of video. You know what I mean? This is a different kind of video. And then imagine, I can't do it justice. I lost my shit completely on this video, completely. I took it down probably inside 48 hours. So I was like, Jesus Christ, anyone who ever sees this is going to be like, what the fuck's wrong? If they didn't understand, but point being is I get it. And Dustin, when he talked about losing that fight and how devastating it was, I fucking understood. And so when he says that he wants to win the undisputed title before he retires, I get it, dude. And with DC, he won the heavyweight championship, which probably, I'm very curious. I would love, I hope I get, that's, if I have any success with this channel, and I mean, obviously I'm going to have success with this channel, but if I have enough success to where I can get DC on, I'm telling you, if anybody knows DC, that is the interview I need. I have to have it, dude. I have to have that interview. Look at how I interviewed Martin Day. I'm not going to interview people like regular interviews. I'm having conversations with DC. I have questions for DC. I have fucking questions for DC. Not like, hey, so what are you gonna do if Stipe starts doing his step out hook to the body next time? Have you prepared for that? Have you prepared for what he did in the 4th round? No. I want to ask him, have you completed your hero's journey in your life, do you consider your career a hero's journey? Is that how you define it? You know, because not everybody does. Some people, they train. It's like, you know, it's like they've always trained, they've always fought, or they've always wrestled, they've always competed. It's a sport, and it's not like they don't define it in terms of greatness like the way Conor does. I know for a 1,000% sure that Conor looks at it the way I do, and that Dustin looks at it the way I do, that Khabib looks at it the way I do. Khabib, not exactly the same. Not exactly the same. It's a different type of test for him. You know, it's not about the legacy for him. You know, for him, it's about being the best in the world, not breaking. You know, it's a little bit different. So I'm very, like, with DC, I genuinely don't know if that's how he defines it or if it's just about John. I do know this. His career's incomplete without that win over John. And I'm not talking about for me. I'm talking about for him. I know that. Because I know what kind of competitor he is. And I want to talk to him about that. You know? I want to talk to, like, and I may as well just say it in public because, you know, like, I'm doing a podcast next week with a couple people, actually, but one of them I'm pretty sure has access to DC, and I'll ask him about it. But I'm not going to hide the ball, you know? Like, I'm not going to hide the ball about what I want to talk to him about. And I want to know in his fucking bones where he's at with that. Because I see the conflict between him and John Jones as, like, the most, just like, if you get as close as you could get to, like, a fairy tale, not a fairy tale, it's a shit, like, you know, like a Greek legend, you know, like a Greek legend, yeah, like that. Like, as much as you could possibly put on a fucking, you know, like a dispute, not a dispute, like a rivalry between two people. DC and John Jones are the ultimate. Conor and Khabib is not, because Conor manufactured that. Okay, that shit is manufactured. Like, whether you guys realize it or not, like, you know, Khabib is as wealthy as he is now because Conor manufactured that. They have benefited immensely from each other, right? Like, they, at the end of the day, they might genuinely dislike each other now, but that's a manufactured thing that Conor did, or maybe Khabib did, depending on how you look at it when he punked Artem, whatever. Either way, manufactured, and they both have benefited from it greatly. Where DC and John Jones is not that. It's like a Greek tragedy, where John Jones was the only thing standing between DC and ultimate greatness, the greatest of all time. And John Jones, anytime that he was anywhere around a DC fight, destroyed himself in one way or another. Like, there's nothing about the conflict with DC that has elevated John Jones. He doesn't have a clean victory over him, right? Like, he fights DC, the ultimate one. He pisses hot for juice. The last time he was going to fight him before that, he pissed hot for juice. Like, he couldn't get his shit together to get, you know, John Jones, get your shit together, I'm waiting, right? Like, it's not like Conor and Khabib manufactured. They had a fight. Both of them are wealthy. It's not like that. These guys are a true, like, Greek tragedy where they, like, it's all bad, which makes it the best thing ever in the fight game. Fuck, I want to interview you. Man, I want to interview him so fucking bad. You have no idea. Not John, DC. I want to talk to DC about it. You know, he does this podcast with Ariel every day. And, you know, they rap out. That's not what that would be like. This would be a very different conversation than what Ariel talks to DC about. But they're buddies, you know, and I'm sure that me and DC would get along real well. As if I was able to kind of, like, he's like one of the only guys where I'd like, you know, I'll be obviously super relaxed and normal around pretty much everyone else. With him, I'm gonna be like, look, dude, I might be the one who's projecting this shit, you know, like, where you don't even look at it the way that I do, but this is a big deal to me. That fucking fight is a real big deal to me. And I really want DC to win, like, more than anything. But anyway, so Dustin looks at it that way. He's not going to get the next title shot. I think what's going to end up happening is he's probably going to end up fighting Tony. I think he's banged up. He's going to need some time. Tony certainly needs time. There's no reason for him to rush back from that. Like, you know, a knee is one thing. Like, you know, if you can rehab your knee that fast, like if you can fast rehab your knee, good for you. Amazing. I've seen Adrian Peterson do it as well. And you know, obviously Tony did it successfully. But when you take punishment like that up here in your late 30s, up here in your synapses and your, you know, your spinal cord, neck connection, and your nerve endings, let that shit heal a little bit, man. Like that, you know, he took an inhuman amount of punishment. Incredibly impressive. But don't rush back. Let that shit heal, dude. So you figure Dustin needs about 6 months. So in 6 months, Tony and Dustin fight. The winner of that fights probably, I would imagine, either Gaethje, Khabib, or Conor, depending on how that's shaken out. So you figure in 6 months, Gaethje and Khabib will have fought. Let's say Gaethje wins, okay? They are going to be very anxious to have Conor fight Gaethje. Khabib, that will really piss him off, but he watched that Ferguson fight. So if Ferguson beats Dustin, then Khabib will fight Ferguson. If Dustin beats Ferguson, then maybe, I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? Like that's the dynamic right there. But yeah, now I'll tie it back to myself. Okay, so for my hero's journey that I was on was this. So when I was in my late 20s was when, like, I was building a company, and I was building a company in debt settlement, okay? And we started getting really successful. And right as we got successful, the FTC was about to pass legislation against our industry. And I looked at it, and I had gone through that with real estate, where I had seen my income go from boom to boom, just like that, when the real estate market collapsed, okay? And so I was terrified of that happening again. And I was married now, and I just looked at it like, I can't go through this again. So as the FTC is looking at passing this legislation, you know, we're ramping up. All of a sudden, you know, I was taking a salary of like $3,000 a month just as we ramped up, because, you know, you don't want to spend, you know, you want to just put the money back into the business. Then I was making $15K a month. Then I was making $23K. Like every month it was going up. You know, so I don't know. I don't remember how much I was making by when I started to panic, but I was like, I've gone through this before, you know, but it was, you know, but I ultimately panicked and I sold my position to my partners, because I was like, this is going to go bad. I could feel it that legislation was going to pass. So I sold my position, you know, I sold out, like let them acquire my shares, and then the FTC passed that legislation, and I felt like a genius. Then my partners figured out a loophole how they could still operate while the rest of the industry did exactly what I expected, which was fold and go out of business. So my partners had like a blue ocean where like all the competition was basically gone. And now all of them they sold out to a private equity firm maybe 2-3 years ago for, I mean, a number you'd think I was making up. So I won't even say it. But they, let's just say if financial upside is my only motivator, that was a very poor decision to sell out. Very poor. But I suffered with that for about 2 years. You know, it ate me alive. Fucking ate me alive. Ate me alive. And yeah, I think I'm probably going to shake this out and I'm going to do a separate video. I am, actually. Oh, so bottom line is, I need an interview with DC. That's the bottom line. So if anybody knows him, let's talk. I need that interview. I need it. So good luck to Dustin. I will see you guys soon. I'll probably try to post over the weekend, but happy 4th of July, and subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, etc. Peace.